Good day, Internet. This is DTNS Live for Friday, April 4th, 2025. From Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
From Columbus, Ohio, I'm Robb Dunewood.
Drawing the top tech stories. From Cleveland, Ohio, I'm Len Peralta.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
Daily Tech News Show Live is made possible by its listeners thanks to all of you, including Reed Fischler, Michelle Sidju, Larry Bailey, and our lifetime patron, Zayler. And I'm not sure how to say that. What is that? Rimron Sauter?
Rimron Sauter.
Rimron Sauter.
Woohoo!
I probably should have.
Yes.
You have a cool name is what you have.
Yeah,
He does.
definitely.
Welcome, everybody, to DTNS Live. This is our Friday edition where we have even more fun than we do the rest of the week, if that's even possible. This is the show where we discuss the tech news to help us all understand it a little bit better as we do it together. Len Peralta, how the heck are you? We missed you last week.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. I haven't been on for 2 weeks. I was just talking to Roger. This might be the only week you get Len Peralta. So soak it in, everybody. This is going to be big.
Soak in the Len.
Soak in
Get
the Len,
your fill.
whatever that means.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it means either, but it
sounds like
great.
a spa treatment.
Len, I'm sure I've asked you about this before, but remember the group Len from Canada?
Yeah, I stole their sunshine. Yeah.
Yes.
Brother and sister group.
I didn't realize they were brother and sister.
Yeah.
That actually makes the song a little bit stranger, but okay. Yeah, good song.
I mean, they're talking about a friend, but yeah.
Every so often when I hear that song, which is not that often, I think, Len Peralta, I wonder what he thinks about that song.
You know what? I love it. It's
a good song.
It's in the weeks that I'm not here, listen to that song. And
give me another lyric besides "Steal My Sunshine."
I know it's hard for me. Steal my sunshine. Not into
no clue. I know they talk. Don't they have like a little banter?
Yeah, that's like a thing that's coming back
because
now.
it was part of the movie Go. Remember that movie? Yeah, we're really going back into the late '90s, early aughts. But anyway, Robb Dunewood, how are you?
Robb is doing great. I got the new brim on today.
Liking the brim.
Hat Day Friday, so I just got my new straw in for the spring.
It is. Is this actually a brand new hat?
Yeah, it literally showed up yesterday.
I love it. It's so cute, and it matches. It matches everything in your office.
It matches your wardrobe.
Doing sort of like a burnt orange.
I got to coordinate.
I love it.
That's good stuff. Roger, how are you?
I'm good. My neighbors have been doing, I think, remodeling for the past week and a half. But other than the noise, it's been good. Getting in before prices go up, I guess.
Well, yeah. We're actually going to talk about some of that on a technical level in our quick hit. So let's get to it.
Nintendo announced the delayed pre-orders for the Switch 2, originally set for April 9th, due to concerns over new tariffs announced by U.S. President. The console's June 5th release date remains unchanged for the now, but the pre-order timing is uncertain. $450 Switch 2 includes major upgrades, but potential price hikes due to tariffs are still unclear.
The Washington Post first reported that the U.S. president has fired NSA and Cyber Command Chief Timothy Howe and Deputy Wendy Noble. The decision has alarmed some lawmakers, unsurprisingly, amid ongoing cyber threats from China. Critics, including Senator Mark Warner, say that the move undermines national security and question the administration's priorities.
The U.S. president has also extended the deadline for ByteDance to sell TikTok's U.S. operations by another 75 days, pushing it to mid-June. This is the second extension, citing the need for more time to finalize approvals. The move delays a potential U.S. ban on TikTok over national security concerns. Several companies, including Amazon, Oracle, and investor groups, are interested in acquiring TikTok's U.S. assets. The deal still also needs approval from the Chinese government.
The information sources say that Intel and TSMC have reached a tentative agreement to establish a joint venture for Intel's chip-making facilities, with TSMC taking a 20% stake, sharing chip-making practices, and training Intel employees. The U.S. administration reportedly pushed for the deal to help Intel's turnaround, following the appointment of Lip-Bu Tan as CEO, who is expected to drive some major changes.
OpenAI is offering ChatGPT Plus free to all U.S. and Canadian college students through May 2025, giving them access to advanced AI tools during finals. The move counters Anthropic's new Claude for Education and reflects a broader battle for the influence in higher education. Both companies aim to build long-term user loyalty by shaping how students learn how they learn how to work with AI. And let me just caution you, if you have not used it up to this point, be careful on your finals. I know it's free, but don't go ham and get yourself suspended at the last month of school.
No kidding. At the same time, smart move. During finals, you got a lot of students being like, I didn't actually read that book. Let me see if I can skate by a little bit better and sound like I really knew what I was doing. Maybe I'm talking about myself back in the day, but that was a long time ago. Not that long ago, though, because I'm only 29. Midjourney released its new AI image model, V7, which began rolling out in alpha on April 3rd, after more than a year of Midjourney not really being in the news much, designed to generate high-quality, coherent images with better detail in objects, bodies, and textures. The model includes a personalization feature that tailors outputs to users' visual preferences. V7 is available in a couple different modes. We got Turbo, which is the faster, more expensive model, and Relax. It also introduces Draft Mode, which is supposed to offer a quicker, cheaper render at lower quality. We here as content creators are always interested in how other people are creating their content. And many of us do our own kind of content creation on the side as well. So this one struck a little chord with me. Vimeo is rolling out a new product called Vimeo Streaming, designed to help video creators launch their own subscription streaming services without a lot of coding expertise. Maybe you have it, but if you don't, it's designed to help you basically build a subscription model without having a lot of technical know-how, but maybe you do a lot of content creation and you have a good audience. The platform offers some memberships on various tiers, including video bumpers, piracy protection, analytics, so you know who's here and what their content of your content that they like. AI powered translations. That's pretty par for the course now, but that's what Vimeo is also offering. Vimeo CEO Philip Moyer says the goal is to give creators more control over their content and income by making high-end tools typically reserved for something like a major platform and accessible at a much lower cost. So you might say, well, hold on. I mean, isn't that what somebody's doing on YouTube right now? Sort of. I mean, if you are in the YouTube ecosystem, you are beholden to the YouTube algorithm, and some creators are very successful in that realm. Some creators will also tell you that I was successful and now the algorithm changed and, I don't work at the company, so I don't really know what they're doing behind the scenes. And then you've got, the TikTok folks who, gain a lot of followers, but not necessarily a lot of money. And you could say that for anybody who's popular on any social network. But I wanted to just kind of throw it out to everybody, starting with you, Robb, because I know you create a lot of content outside of DTNS Live. And does this make sense for you if you were to predominantly be churning out video content?
I think this is a brilliant idea for people who do a lot of highly produced video. So one of the things with YouTube, and I am by no stretch of the imagination a YouTube expert, but what I do know about YouTube is that it is not an easy lift to do things beyond just what YouTube offers. So you will notice there a lot of times you'll go to a website and there will be a YouTube video embedded in the thing that you're watching on the website. And maybe that website had a subscription that you had to get to it. The video might have been private on YouTube, but it's shown to anyone who's on the website with a subscription. Well, that means that you have to build a website. And that means that you have to actually build a subscription model into the website, that you've got to do that lifting. And what it sounds like Vimeo is doing is they're saying, hey, we're going to give you some white collar type of or white glove type of service with you provide the video and we'll take care of the rest. We will take care of setting up the membership. We'll take care of, putting it behind a paywall. We'll take care of all the analytics and all those things that the creators would want, but don't necessarily want to actually have to go out and build on their own beyond something like a like a YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
I can absolutely see. I don't know that this is just for the regular folks who are creating videos on their phones and they're just posting them to YouTube, and hoping that they're going to get some revenue from AdSense. I don't think it's for that, but I think that if you're creating very highly produced, well quality video, or just you have a community of people who want to see your content, this is a way where you can get that content in front of them with a paywall, where you don't have to be the one to build the wall.
I think it's a very needed product, but at the same time, YouTube's advantage is that it's whatever and whomever wants to post. So there is a sort of built-in draw. With Vimeo, it feels more like you need to have an established audience in order to leverage this. And for people starting out, I mean, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram are still like the primary ways, because everyone's face is glued to, well, I should say glued, but is sort of, in it at some point of the day.
And there's so much discovery aspects of YouTube, if you want to kind of try to game the system best you can, that it's sort of like go where the people are, right? For anybody who's like, Vimeo, what is Vimeo exactly? I mean, back in the early days of Vimeo, which, I don't know, like the College Humor days, because those companies were connected, it was honestly just an alternative to uploading videos that you might upload to YouTube or somewhere else.
Like
it was kind of like the cooler kid type thing. And again, I'm talking like 2007, so it's definitely a very different product now. But that used to be, I mean, I have a Vimeo account. I haven't uploaded anything to Vimeo in quite some time, but that was kind of what it was. Then it sort of became a creative professional place to almost have your reel. Like if you're a great graphic designer, you would have a Vimeo page, because you were taking it a little bit more seriously than just some other place on the internet. So this feels kind of like Patreon to me, but for video professionals.
I mean, honestly, it feels like they're trying to pivot their product into something that they think can pay, because I mean, Vimeo at one point was like your third or fourth alternative of things like Daily Motion if you didn't want to do YouTube. Yeah. Or if you did YouTube, you wanted to be in all the spaces. The problem is YouTube has sort of become the default platform for everyone. And even Daily Motion might have some stuff, but it's just a percentage of what's available on YouTube. And what you were saying earlier about discovery, I mean, there's the discovery aspect. I can be on YouTube and I can search, I'm not sure if you've ever done this, but have you ever just done a web search, but done it in YouTube? Like, how do I get from like the Narita airport to my hotel in Tokyo? And then you'll invariably come across maybe a handful or maybe a dozen or so videos that show you step by step, because someone literally just recorded their entire process of doing it. And so it's one of those things where
and sometimes one of those videos you go like, wow, they were really good at this. Subscribe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
there used to be a time when people would create Facebook pages, and you would send people to your Facebook page like you were sending them to a website. But what you were really doing is that you were sending them into Facebook, and then they got to your Facebook page. YouTube is kind of like that. When I think of watching a video on YouTube, I generally think of YouTube first and then the video that I want to watch. What I believe Vimeo is doing is saying you don't have to have anyone think about your content through the lens of anyone else. If you've created this television show and people want to watch this half-hour television show and you want to charge them for it, put it on here and we will take care of the website. We'll take care of the hosting. We'll take care of all of that. So all you have to do is be a good creator. You don't have to think about how do I actually build the platform to deliver this content in a way that is not tied to YouTube or to some other third-party platform.
Well, and that, sorry, Roger, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, I don't think they're at odds with each other. I think they can actually be very complementary.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, Vimeo, I think, is doing the smart thing. They have a product and they're looking for a way to generate some revenue off of it that's meaningful. And being that kind of what you were saying before, Rob, a white glove service that does all this, including the membership, the tiers, and all that, could be good. They really just need to be in more spaces that people can access.
I imagine, on my LG TV, my smart TV in the living room, or my Apple TV that's in my bedroom. It's like if I had a creator who, well, and I do, but just to not calling out anybody out on this show, because all creators are wonderful folks who work hard. But if I had like a little, basically like, do I want Netflix? Do I want YouTube? Do I want favorite creator? Do I want, HBO Max? It's like, that's cool. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Now, again, that's me watching on the big screen, and not everybody does that. But I think that's what Vimeo is going for here is think of a channel that just you think of as a standalone channel, not like, oh, I have to go to YouTube in order to view this channel. This channel just exists in its own, even though Vimeo is on the back end.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Rob, you dug into a study that shows that AI experts and the general public that use AI products not necessarily on the same page when it comes to enthusiasm and predictions about AI going forward.
Yes, Sarah, according to a 2024 Pew Research Center study, they're not even close. So this study shows that AI experts are way more optimistic about AI's future than the general U.S. public. 56% of experts think that AI will have a good impact over the next 20 years compared to only 17% of regular Americans. Almost half of the experts are more excited than worried about AI, while most Americans are worried. Even with these differences, both groups do want more control over AI and are concerned about not enough government oversight being, in the fray. So what I really thought was interesting here, there's a lot of things. This went over AI impacts on jobs, gender divide issues, bias and representation type of issues. But the biggie here is just that 76% of experts believe that they will personally benefit from AI compared to only 24% of the public. That is a chasm. When you've got 3/4 of the people who work in AI think AI is going to be a great thing, but only not even 1/4 of the people who use it think that it's a good thing for them. In fact, 43% of Americans actually think that AI will cause them harm in the future.
I think
I mean, that's got to be sort of the case for anybody who works in an industry that they care about, right?
I mean,
if you make burgers and you say, we make really good burgers, they're the best burgers. We care so much about the burgers. These burgers are going to, just make everyone's life better. I know this is sort of a weird comparison, but, and then the public is like, kind of an expensive burger, or not that great of a burger, or
maybe
is
not
this
a healthy
burger really
burger.
Healthy for me?
I think what you actually see is people in the industry and then people in academia and then just the public, right? Because as you were saying, the AI impact with the ones who are deeply embedded in this industry, of course, they're going to have positive fields. But I'm not going to say that if I came on and moaned about how podcasting was dead and it's a dying industry, there's no money in it, everyone who works in it is just going to end up penniless and poor. That's probably not going to happen because I'm obviously in it constantly and I enjoy doing it and I have a very optimistic outlook because those are the type of people that would be in it. I think what's more instructive is to see the ones that do study AI that might be involved in AI but aren't necessarily in the commercial or professional corporate sector developing it because their jobs are less tied to how well it does.
It's interesting that you say that, Roger, because in this study, it showed that if you are an AI expert, but you work at a university or a college, that you're a lot closer to the public than you are to the AI experts whose job it is to build these wonderful tools. Still, university, professionals, college professionals, they still are way more optimistic. In fact, they still trend to being optimistic about it. But the chasm is not quite as wide as it was if you work for an AI company as compared to if you work in the education space.
And I hate to be that kind of person, but oftentimes when you're at the bleeding edge of developing technology, you tend to be your own best, marker. You tend to be very sloganeering, and on the idea is like, it's going to change humanity. Everything you do right now is going to get easier. It's going to get better. People will have time, and
because you
and
care, and you're
you
putting
care,
all
but
your effort into it.
But you're also developing an argument of why what you're doing is so important. And so sometimes people tend to embellish the truth, and sometimes people tend to over exaggerate the truth because they want to get other people excited about it, right? We have the whole kind of tech hype cycle, and we're at that phase where everyone is just like, yeah, it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's like big data. Big data was going to be the next big thing in tech, right? Because now it's something that can be used by corporations, large box stores, small box stores. The big data is going to change how we approach medicine, how we approach business, how we approach education. A lot of the same arguments that we use, and over the years, it's just sort of kind of fallen flat. Not that it wasn't successful, but it didn't reach the highs that was promised, and rather the technology has been more used in a more prosaic sense of analyzing where a company maybe should put investment into new projects, where they should pull back from things that do work, things that don't work. It's a mixed bag, and I think right now we're just at a phase of AI where people who want to sell you it are just going to be very excited about it.
Now, there were some areas where the public and the AI experts agreed as far as jobs are concerned. So if you are a cashier, no one believes that your job is safe. There's very low hope for cashier type jobs from AI professionals as well as just lay people. There are also some other areas where there was a lot of agreement. For example, journalists, software engineers, factory workers. One of the areas where there was a wide gap, once again, was that the public thinks that truck drivers are going to be okay over the next 20 years. AI believes that truck drivers are almost in as bad a case as cashiers. So there's a wide gap there. Just in another place where folks don't really agree is that AI professionals believe that there will always be room for musicians, teachers, medical doctors, and stuff like that. People in the public, not so much. They think that those are going to be areas that are going to be tackled by AI as well.
I mean, partly I think there's a maybe frame of reference difference, right? Because not everything is a binary, right? All things will be touched by AI, but how severely and how much is on a sliding scale on what you do, right? If you're an accountant, yeah, AI might have a much bigger impact on you than if you're, say, like an oil painter, right? Again, there's certain elements that can be easily reproduced with AI, but you could say the same thing about image editing programs. But people buy certain art because they want the human touch to it.
And even in the music sector, it's like you could argue that the formulaic pop music model has been going on for a while, and you can like a song a lot, and is it really that different than that other song that you liked a lot? And sometimes the answer is yes, but oftentimes it's no, because they have tapped into something that you just like as a human. But if you're going to go to a show, are you always just going to watch, I don't know, a video screen instead of a person performing? Of course not. Are you always going to have some automated cashier experience? I mean, I don't know. I don't think we're all going to be alive for that, but maybe someday. But no, not anytime soon. I mean, there was a time where people would go to, I don't know, Tokyo, for example, and say, it's all so automated. It's so crazy. It's so fun. It's so different. And now it's like, you know what? Do we need all of that stuff here? You get a lot of FUD because it turns into, well, wait a second. If this is not just a novelty and not just like a fun tool where we like make, cute photos, from something using AI that would not be possible easily with our cameras, then it turns into a lot of like, I don't know. I'm uncertain about this.
I I think there's an element of existential dread for people who do have a job that might be in the crosshairs of an AI company, like whether it can be automated away, whether AI can do it, because oftentimes these people might be in their 40s, 30s, late 30s, 40s. There's a feeling like, okay, then what happens? I need to have a paycheck in order to pay my mortgage, feed my family, do the car payments, all the stuff to live. And so people tend to be more skeptical because for them, the danger is I'm out of work and now that my entire family's life is in jeopardy. And so you tend to be a little more protective of how humans interact or how humans do work versus AI, because you can see like, hey, if AI only affected, like, say, only sports, most people would be a little more, I think the public would be more indifferent, right? Because it's not affecting me personally, it's not affecting my job, my ability to make a living. And, if some multi-million-dollar, sports celebrity no longer gets to play and doesn't make the paycheck, so what? Sports, sporting professional athletes make up a very small percentage of the public. But most of the public is made up of people who drive trucks, who maybe work at a cashier, who might do white-collar office jobs that are also under the scrutiny of companies that want to use AI to make more efficient changes to the organization. And so I think, if you understand it from the fear reflex, this Pew research really is on the nose, or I think very reflective of how people see this.
One other thing that was, pretty evident here, there is a fairly substantial gender divide when it comes to AI, not just amongst the public, but also amongst the AI researchers. And it's about the same. Women are way less optimistic about AI, regardless of whether they work in AI or they're just a regular person. So that was something to look at. There's also, bias and representation that everyone says, yeah, there's problems here, that the AI models are generally skewed towards white men compared to every other thing that you could possibly be. So that is something that both researchers understand and the general public understands. And they'd like to see those things get addressed with better training data, just so that there's more people, the more people you train data on, the more inclusive you're going to be, the better outcomes you're ultimately going to have from it.
Yeah. And, it's not just, some of these, one of the things that they've learning that their initial phases of learning about bias and large language models is that they tend to make a lot of the same judgment calls that people do when it comes to situations where empirical data isn't used to make the judgment, right? Like, for example, Johnson, you're either a good worker, you're either a bad employee or a good employee, and that will determine whether or not we keep you on. Some of those judgments are done subjectively, right? It's not like you did X amount of hours and you produced X amount of dollars for the company. It's more like, how do you get along with the workers? Is there a lot of friction here? Do I hear a lot of complaints in HR? There's a lot of these calls that are made by people that are in the realm of like, I got to take in all this information, but some of it has there's no like number figure that I can attach to it and therefore give a very analytical approach. I have to do what most people do, just make a general assessment of how people feel. What's better? Is the group dynamic better if that person leaves, which means that they could in the future provide more productivity, providing the company with more earnings? Or is it better to keep this high earner even though he makes everyone else perform at a lower level?
And this last area of the study that I honestly was not expecting is that it's over regulation and responsibility. And it says that both groups lack confidence in the government and U.S. companies to effectively and responsibly relegate and develop and basically put out AI. So you've got the people who I would expect to say that. You've also got the people who are creating AI. They're saying that the government, nor are we doing what we effectively need to do to make sure that this stuff is safe as it needs to be for everyone on the planet. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought that there would be a chasm there. There is not. The people who are creating AI are just as concerned about the people who are using AI, about AI's impact on the world.
I honestly, I think if you work in AI, you know better than anybody, what the potential impact could be, good or bad. I actually had a conversation this morning with with Robb, you mentioned the gender divide with a woman friend who she was trying to basically put together like a rejection letter for somebody who was applying for a job at her company, and she was like, I want to make it, I want to be honest that they're not going to get the job, but kind of like warm it up a little bit, not be too terrible. And she was like, OpenAI was like just really weird about it and just made it turn into like almost like we were like really good friends. And another friend of mine was like, yeah, you just don't know how to use this appropriately, because if you do, I've built, everything I do for work now. Sure, human eyes need to check it over. And we talk about this, even putting DTNS Live together. We use these tools sometimes, but human eyes for sure. But it got me thinking of like, all right, well, we're definitely at the point where we have AI experts, not even necessarily people who work in the industry specifically, but could become a professor at some point. If we're even going back to traditional roles, when we get to the point that somebody could be like, my really cool AI professor at Stanford University type thing. And the folks that don't understand how these tools work, and it's not because they can't figure it out. It's not because they're not smart. It's because there's a whole educational aspect that is really not there right now.
Some of these tools are less than 3 months old.
Yeah,
how long
exactly.
We've been talking about DeepSeek for less than 3 months.
Right. And so it's like, if you want to just throw yourself all in and learn some stuff, great. But there's no real way to learn anything. There's no kind of like, hey, here are the models, here are how they differ. Let's all, figure out how you become a person who works in AI later on, who's really, really helpful to the company that ends up hiring you. We're just not there.
I will also say that historically, this has been proven that women tend to be at a disadvantage in the workspace as they get older compared to men.
And
so,
never heard that before.
And one of the things with AI is when corporations say AI is going to save us millions over the year on headcount and offices and all these things. A lot of people who feel that their jobs are on the line tend to be more reactive to that and tend to have a negative view because, again, it's an existential threat to their financial security.
Indeed. Well, if you've got thoughts on this, and I know we all do, and you might be in our Discord, you might not, but if you'd like to join conversations in our Discord, we have lots of conversations going on 24 hours a day. You can do so by linking to a Patreon account at patreon.com/DTNS. Microsoft held its 50th anniversary and Copilot event Thursday at its company's headquarters in Redmond, Washington. So happy 50th, Microsoft. You've been around for quite some time. Microsoft's Copilot, this is in the news today, now capable of doing a lot of new stuff, browsing the web, performing tasks like booking your next airline ticket, tracking an online deal that you paid for. It can also remember things like user preferences, analyze real-time video from phone cameras. That could be beneficial for some of you. New features include AI-generated podcasts, a pages function for organizing research, deep research for compiling complex queries. The Windows version can interact with the desktop, though privacy concerns remain, with some people saying, I don't know about Copilot yet. Users can manage what Copilot does remember or shouldn't remember on their dashboard. The updates coincide with Microsoft shifting Copilot to more in-house AI technology as well. So this is Microsoft saying, all right, we're here to stay with Copilot.
It's interesting. I was having this internal conflict. Do I feel the same way about privacy on my PC, where I would want Copilot to do everything locally on the PC in the same way that I would want it to be on my phone? And I think there's a difference for me. I think I feel way more. I definitely want stuff that be done on my phone probably more so than I care about it being done on a computer. Not to say that I want everything that I do on my computer to be out there, for every one of these companies to see, but it is interesting that Microsoft is absolutely moving to, we're going to allow Copilot to do some really, really cool things on your computer, and that information doesn't get out to anyone else. It is basically what is happening on your PC, which is a good thing. I think they're even thinking about like agentic type agents where it can go out and it can buy your ticket for you. It can do these kind of things. And that is all information that only your PC is aware of. And of course, the website that is dealing with. That's cool. And I do like that, but I would want that way more so on my phone than I think I ever would on a PC. That just may be me. I just think that for some reason, I actually have a difference between how I think about them.
And why do you think that is? Because I have this conversation with people all the time where it's like, not even like my desktop computer that I'm using right now, but like laptop versus phone. And, what feels more comfortable if they essentially work the same?
For me, my phone is an extension of me. I don't feel like that about my tablet, about my computer, about my desktop. I just feel differently about that. I mean, and here's the thing. I could probably access 97% of the same stuff on either one of those devices. But for some reason, my phone just feels more like it's an extension of me. So I absolutely am thinking about this has to be protected in every single way possible. And I don't want any of this stuff out there on the cloud. Whereas on the computer, I kind of expect that if I'm on a website, you're getting every keystroke that I type if I'm connected to your website. I just kind of think that way. So like I said, it really could just be a Robb thing in this case, but I do see a difference between the way I think about how my data is protected on my PC and how I think about how it's protected on my phone.
My initial reaction with this is that Microsoft is trying to do a lot with Copilot, but they've made it very confusing. Like, when you talk about Copilot, are you talking about the AI assistant? Are you referring to Copilot plus PC? Their branding initiative to get people on machines that have an onboard NPU that is capable of running a lot of the agentic stuff locally, or is it a bunch of other things? Is it a cloud-based? Part of it that bugs me is Copilot is just a very broad and vague and nebulous term right at this point. There isn't the sort of branding and understanding that even Apple does around the various feature sets that they have for their iPhone, for their Mac line, for their services in the cloud. And I think Copilot can be a very powerful tool, but at this stage, a lot of people are sort of like shrugging their shoulders at it. It's like, yeah, it's cool, not something I can see as a requirement to use a Windows 11 machine at this point, because one, I can use AI services from anyone else. Two, what exactly is Copilot doing above and beyond what I just need, for example, copying a term paper or maybe compiling a report for my work? The use cases are broad, but whether or not they're compelling is a different matter.
Yeah, if I were writing a book and the book is top secret information and nobody can get it, I'm not thinking about putting that on a website anyway. So it's really interesting. I am due for a new PC. I'm probably going to get a Copilot PC, a Copilot Plus PC, but I don't know that I don't know that the AI on the device that I have sitting on my desk is as big a deal for me as I thought that it might be. I don't want to say it's falling flat on me like virtual reality goggles, because I've never been into them, but I need to see a use case. I need to see where having this ridiculously powerful processor that's going to make my life easier as compared to just going to a website and doing exactly the same thing, probably with more power.
And the thing is, Copilot to me is an add-on. It's an add-on to a service. Or not Copilot, agentic AI is an add-on to an existing service. It's not something like, oh, hey, I'm going to use a smart remote today. It's just a smart remote's part of the TV, and it just helps you facilitate functioning it better. And and that's where I have. It's like, forcing people, like, if you want the sauce, you need to buy the sauce separately from the actual, food product that you want to add it to.
Well, yeah, if you have thoughts on Copilot, do send it our way, feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. All right, It is Friday, and that means it's time for another quiz to take us into the weekend. Roger, what are we doing this week?
All right, for all three of you, Sarah, Rob, and Len, it's earlier in the week I discussed with Justin YouTube channels that were flooding the platform with clickbaity, fake AI-generated movie trailers. Now, in the spirit of that theme, I have made a quiz about fictional movies and movie trailers that have appeared in actual movies. So it's sort of a meta. It's sort of like a nesting doll thing. The goal is to decipher what the actual movie these fake movies appeared in, and let me know. And the first one gets the point.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Question 1. In this Jack Black comedy, this character must undo the damage he caused by remaking variations of popular films as sweeted versions. Sweeted meaning sort of a lower brow budget version of the same film.
I cannot remember the name of it. I'm pretty sure that Mos Def back then, Yassine Bey today was in this movie.
Yes.
What was it called? Rewind It?
Close.
Sweeted, I was like Swedish.
Rewind is in it. Rewind is in it. You're close. You're close. Rewind is in it.
Rewind me.
I'm going to just say Be Kind, Rewind.
Yes, you win, Len.
That's it.
You win this point. You win this point.
I knew it. I just couldn't think of the name of it. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is, and I wonder how many younger folks were like, oh, I get the name. But
That sounds like
remember
I've
when
never heard of
we
that
all
movie.
had to, see Be Kind, Rewind when we would take our VHS tapes back to the
It was a great
back
movie.
to the
It was
Blockbuster or indie movie.
It's a
like
cult
it was
movie
like
now.
it
It's a
was
cult
really rude if you didn't rewind it and you just dropped it back off. You
Did-
had
did
to
anyone
be
have
kind
the-
and rewind.
Did anybody have the actual rewinder?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I had two. I had
Yeah.
two.
Did. It was called an ESAU, ESAU. That was the brand, and so
Yeah.
I don't remember the brand that we had unless there was only one. But yeah, like you would get through them quite a bit faster. Yeah. And it was
Absolutely.
supposedly like better for the tapes, which who even knows?
Let's say it was better for your VCR because
Yeah,
not only
right.
would you save
It was better for
wear,
your
but
VCR for sure.
but you could also watch the next movie without having to rewind the other one. So,
Exactly.
all right. Question 2. In which movie did Ryan Gosling play a stuntman for the in-film production of the sci-fi movie Metal Storm?
Fall Guy.
Rob got it.
Yeah.
Fall Guy it is. But the trailer for Metal Storm is pretty funny. It has Jason Momoa. It has a very it's a ridiculous trailer, but it's a funny movie.
Yeah.
And for
Didn't
anyone
Ryan
who doesn't,
Gosling play a stuntman in some other movie though?
yes,
Yeah,
it was
he
the
did.
driver. He was like
which I liked that movie. Drive. It was called
Drive. It was Drive.
Drive.
good movie. But okay, all right. So he had like I'm playing a stuntman for somebody else. Clearly,
I mean,
Fall Guy. Have not seen it.
Have you seen the series, the TV series that was originally based on?
I mean, I remember it when I was a kid, but it
with
was,
Lee
like, two
Majors, who
adults.
sang
Yeah,
the
6
title
Million
the
Man.
title song, and had not Heather Locklear, had that other blonde woman that was like prevalent in the 80s.
Well, there's only
All
two, so you can think of it pretty soon.
Question 3. Which Grindhouse movie did Robert Rodriguez direct when he also created a trailer for a fictional film called Machete, which ended up being turned into a real movie 3 years later?
Oh, it's I know this one. Well, I think it was called Grindhouse, wasn't it?
No,
the
there
That was
were a
Quentin
couple
Tarantino,
Grindhouse
Grindhouse.
movies.
Okay.
I wish I
Robert
knew that.
Rodriguez. Well, I don't know.
Quentin Tarantino did the other one, so it's
Got
not
it.
that one.
Oh, I want to say From Dusk Till Dawn, but that's not it though.
That's not it.
That's the Quentin Tarantino
That's
one,
the
right?
one that I was thinking
No,
of. Yeah.
that's not a Grindhouse
Dusk Till
movie. It is a
Dawn.
Grindhouse movie.
Grindhouse movie.
It's
Robert
one of the
Rodriguez.
words in the title is something you see in the sky, and the other word is something you feel when a werewolf scares you.
Scream Sun.
I have no idea.
Blood Moon.
All right, it's Planet Terror.
I was
Terror.
not gonna get that one.
Would have never got that.
Yeah.
It was good. I watched it in the theater. They did a total of 4 fictional movie trailers of one of which was Machete, which ended up being turned into an actual movie. But the other three, one I think, I'm not sure if it did, but a movie had the same title with the same theme was made on. It was called Thanksgiving, but it was supposed to be done like Halloween.
Right. Yeah, that came out this last year, right?
Yeah, but I was trying to find a direct link to it to the Grindhouse movies, and I was unsuccessful. But I think there was some influence.
Yes.
All right, question 4. In what Howard Hughes movie, John Hughes movie, Christmas movie, was the fictional 1930s
Wait, is it
movie?
Howard Hughes or John Hughes?
John Hughes, not Howard Hughes. I'm sorry, Howard Hughes.
Okay, because that I was like, okay, that's very different.
John Hughes
Christmas
movie was the fictional 1930s movie Angels with Filthy Souls, seen by watched by the protagonist.
I'm going to say National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Close.
That was a John Hughes movie?
Close. It had Christmas in it.
Oh, A Christmas Carol.
It didn't have Christmas in the title, but it happened over Christmas when the family was traveling.
Home Alone.
Yes.
Okay.
Home Alone. Home Alone.
Now
It's
that you say it, I know exactly
like
what
I
we're
should
talking
get
about.
better
You
at
filthy
these.
animal.
and it was funny because in the
Are you
sequel of
thirsty
this,
for more?
it was called. He was watching another one of these, and it was called Angels with Filthy Souls 2. In the sequel.
See, I thought when you said Howard Hughes, I was like,
I'm sorry, I meant
It's
John
a Wonderful
Hughes.
Life.
Old,
Did
yeah,
he-
John
yeah,
Hughes.
right.
John Hughes. I'm sorry.
No, okay, it's fine.
Sorry, it's a flub on my part.
Yeah.
All right. Question 5. The fictional Nazi propaganda film Stolz der Nation, a.k.a. Pride of the Nation, appeared in this Quentin Tarantino World War II film.
What is Django Unchained?
No, Inglorious Bastards.
Len got.
Yeah.
Also, I'm
Django
not on
Unchained.
Jeopardy. I don't know why I did that.
Django Unchained was took place in the Old West.
Yes, I know. I just wanted to be first.
So what's interesting about this is the movie was actually that little portion of it was actually directed by Eli Roth, who also played Sergeant Donnie Donowitz, one of the bastards in Inglourious Bastards.
Huh. Okay.
So they gave him a little something. All right, question 6. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon reprised their roles from Good Will Hunting in the fictional movie Good Will Hunting 2. Hunting season, found in this comedy movie.
Is this Team America?
So Ben Affleck and Matt Damon reprised their roles from Good Will Hunting in the fictional movie Good Will Hunting 2, Hunting Season. That was found in this comedy movie.
The first one also fictional?
No. Good Will Hunting was real.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting.
No,
2,
but like Good Will Hunting 2 is a fictional movie in this movie.
it's a parody.
Yeah.
They do a parody of it,
Yes.
and we got to figure out
Oh.
what that movie is.
Oh,
Man,
gosh.
I said Team America. That's not right. But,
No, that's the guys from South Park.
right.
No clue.
Is it?
No clue.
Am I allowed to
Yeah.
guess again?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I have no idea.
Is it? Well, is it a Kevin Smith film? Oh, Dogma. Yes.
No, it is Kevin Smith, not Dogma. There's only like 4 other films.
Yeah, I know. Mallrats.
I mean, it can't be Mallrats. That's too
no.
early.
There was Mallrats 2.
Close. There is a 2 in it, but it is a sequel of sorts.
It's I know what it is. It's the two stoners.
Yeah, from Clerks.
Clerks?
Yes.
No,
It's not Clerks. It's
It's Jay and Silent Bob Strike
Yeah.
Back.
Yes. Sarah gets it. And so, it's a pretty funny one where they basically turn it around from a kind of deep thought movie into sort of an action thing.
That's great.
Did not see it, turns out.
Yeah,
Or if
I
I
did not see
did,
that
maybe, I was editing.
All right.
All right.
Question number 7. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former governor of California, performs an over-the-top Hamlet scene in this 1991 boyhood fantasy film featuring a child who's transported into the world of an on-screen police detective.
Oh, Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Rob and Len get it.
Yep.
It is.
I was going to say Kindergarten Cop.
Oh no.
Wasn't that shot up near Sebastopol?
What?
I always thought that was
Kindergarten
shot in
Cop?
Northern. Yeah, like the school, the kindergarten that they used for the location shoot was actually maybe
I don't know.
For Last Action Hero?
no for Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't remember that.
Sorry.
I
veered
mean,
a little bit off.
either way, I wasn't in kindergarten, so maybe it was lost on me.
All
But
right.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Schwarzenegger.
Last
contributing
question.
To our, okay.
In what comedy movie did a fictional trailer for Satan's Alley, a film featuring Tobey Maguire and Robert Downey Jr. as monks?
Tropic Thunder.
Yes,
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder.
Yes.
That movie is so funny.
It's
It is
so
so
hilarious.
funny. It is so funny.
That is a
I don't
classic
remember
film.
Tobey Maguire being in that movie.
No, it was in the trailer.
Yes.
So in Tropic Thunder, they show you 4 movie trailers before
I
that
see.
all the characters are
Right.
in,
That
and
yeah,
that kind of
to,
gives you a
like, be
backstory.
Like, here's what they've. Yeah. No. The Tropic Thunder is that.
Such
that
a
was-
funny film.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? So funny.
It was. You cannot do that movie today. You cannot do that movie,
No.
Now there's certain jokes that you just
especially a running joke in the movie.
It's just
Yeah, it was. I
frozen
believe it
in
was
time.
Jamie Foxx that convinced Robert Downey Jr. to do that movie because dude, I can't play blackface. Like, dude, you're a comedian in this. You're a comedic actor. It's funny. So that's the thing. It's funny you can do it. But they're saying, but that was back then. There's no way today that he could do that
It
again.
would never be greenlit. No.
No, it'd never get done. But it was like
I'm glad it did, though. It's hilarious.
that movie was hilarious.
And then Tom Cruise is sort of like a
Right.
Harvey
Yeah.
Weinstein type. Amazing.
Character, and he does a interesting dance at the very end of the
Yes.
movie.
Again, doesn't age well, but
No,
you
no.
know,
Funny.
yeah.
It was of its time, I will say. So everyone wins, no one loses.
Thank
That
you,
was the
Roger.
quiz.
Right on. Thank you. That
was
was
a fun
great.
quiz as
that was
always.
another great quiz.
Really
We all
fun.
learned a little something
Yeah.
about ourselves and each other.
There you go. That's all it comes down to in the end.
That's right. Well, let's go ahead and check out the mailbag, Rob.
Anon Jr. posted on Patreon. He said, on the O'Reilly Media OpenAI stuff, I've got 2 thoughts. One, it's cute Roger thinks legislation will stop the complaints and lawsuits and all that kind of good stuff. Have you met people? Wink, wink. I also have no faith in any recent, current, or near future alleged crafting useful laws around this issue. Point 2. For the technical stuff like solving sample problems in an unpublished tech book, I'm fairly confident that there's enough other writing just in Stack Overflow to come up with the same answers without having used paywalled books. Unfortunately, the various LLMs being found to have used known illegal book repositories instead of buying a copy and scanning or finding any other method stronger legal standing makes the accusation just legitimate enough to consider. While what they did with the content is arguably fair use, how they got it, some of it, or how they got to it, the content is a discussion that makes this a messy and difficult thing to get to. So I kind of agree with Anon Jr. on this. It's like they should have just done it a better way because it makes it messy. It just they shouldn't have done it this way.
Well, I mean, the idea that legislation cannot fix this is, I mean, it's a pessimistic way to look at it. You might be right, but, I would like to think that we would get to a point where somehow, folks meaning, folks working for various companies will be more liable for stuff like this. But again, it kind of goes back to our question or our conversation earlier in the show is like, it's so new that people are pushing boundaries right now. Like, what can I get away with?
And the goal of law isn't to get every use case, it's to get the majority of it. So there's some framework for people to move forward on. Was I aggrieved? Is there something that we can do to remedy the situation? Who's at fault? There's a lot of stuff in there that if you had legislation, you at least could get like 85% of the issues out of the way, and not everyone sort of just figuring out how things or where things stand.
Yeah, and you generally have people, if there are rules, most folks are going to try to adhere to the rules. Now, as you said, it's not going to get everyone, but if there is a set of rules of this is how you operate, this is how you go forward, there's at least a common framework that you know from which you must work.
Yeah. It's like the Waymo car I saw blow through a stop sign just last night. I was like, most people follow the stop sign. Waymo car didn't follow it. Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't need
That's
to.
the law.
Yeah.
It does need to. It very much does need to.
No, Waymo has its own rules. It's okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Remember, you can send in your comments. Anything we talk about on the show that you're like, oh, I wish I was in the conversation, send it our way. We would really like to hear your voice, and let us know what you want us to talk about on a future show. Thank you in advance. Also, thanks to Len Peralta, who's been drawing top tech stories throughout the show. Len, what have you drawn for us today?
You know, I was really, really amazed or taken by that story about Vimeo giving options to creators to create their own channel, essentially their streaming service. But you know, there's going to be a lot of option paralysis when it comes down to it, and you can kind of take a look at what this is going to look like. There's Brettflix and Hulu, and this channel called Max, which is basically my son.
It's Max.
It's Max's Max. Yeah, he's just there. It's going to cause a big problem as far as option paralysis. What am I going to watch? Am I going to watch Brettflix, Netflix, Hulu, or Max? I don't know.
Oh, I love this. If you like somebody's channel on, let's say, YouTube right now, and there's hours of content, it's like, well, I mean, your life doesn't have to change, but this could. If Max wants to move it over somewhere else, then there you go.
Yeah. So if you're interested in this piece, I had a lot of fun making all those little logos. By the way, you can get this at my Patreon, patreon.com/Len, or you can back me at the DTNS Lover level. You get it immediately, or go to my online store, lenperaltastore.com. It's right there on the front page right now, and you can just order it, get it hot and fresh in your mailbox.
Good stuff.
Or I can mail it to you. Whatever you want to do.
During the show, you've been submitting your titles over at dtns.showbot.tv, and we've got some good ones for you. Let's start off with Humanity to Trust AI Continues to Build It. Nick with the C. Vimeo takes on YouTube, CPOTS 50. The future of AI is encouraging or frightening, also CPOTS 50.
It's both.
Keep the change, you filthy quiz day. Stealth Dave. That's a good one. Not everyone has good AI feels, JPEG 84. Sarah, what do we go with?
Well, we loved all the title suggestions, but we went with JPEG 84's Not Everyone Has Good AI Feels.
It's true, but
Which boy is that true. I mean, I have decent AI feels. I don't have 100% great AI feels. I feel like the tools work well for me in certain situations, but yeah, I mean, if they don't for you, I don't blame you.
It's a mixed bag, but what isn't a mixed bag are the people that support the show. I want to give a shout out to Laminar Rainbow, who gave us a super chat on YouTube. Also want to give everyone in Twitch chat supporting us, including C-Spawn, used 40 bits for an on-screen celebration. Technobench cheered us on with bits, as did Zoe Brings Bacon. Charlie and Columbus resubscribed with Prime. They've been subscribed for 65 months. And then Razin resubscribed with Prime, and they've been subscribed for 40 months. So thank you one and all for supporting the show.
Indeed.
Folks, you can watch Tom's Top 5, the show where he breaks down the top 5 things you need to know about technology. This week, Tom counts down the top 5 reasons why the demand for electricity is exploding. You can catch it at Daily Tech News Show on TikTok and Instagram, and at youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show.
You can watch us live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2000 UTC. Oh, I won't make that mistake again. Hey, Daylight Savings. You can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. We hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Back on Monday with Justin Robert Young joining us. Talk to you then. This week's episodes of Daily Tech News Show Live were created by the following people. Producer and host, Sarah Lane. Host, Tom Merritt. Host, Robb Dunewood. Producer, Roger Chang. Video producer, Joe Kuntz. Producer at large, Anthony Lemos. Social media producer and moderator, Zoe Detterdine. our mods: Beatmaster, W. Scottus1, BioCow, Cap Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, aka Gadget Virtuoso, and JD Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Luters. Art by Len Peralta. ACAST support, ad support from Tatiana Matias. Patreon support from Tom McNeil. Contributors on this week's show include Justin Robert Young, Jason Howell, and Jen Cutter. And thank you to all our patrons who make our show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.